Oh, somebody's asking, yeah, this is a recording for the morning and says evening session. I've not uploaded them. I'm going to upload after before the day ends. Yeah, I'll upload it. But today, like I said, for those who are joining us right now, we will cover event listeners. We will cover event listeners and then do two projects that I'm going to choose or pick to sum it all up on JavaScript. Then I think we are going to be at par. So about JavaScript, like web development, we are not training you of everything. We are not giving you full information. What we are giving you is something that is about enough to keep you going. So please do your own research, keep learning at your own time, do your own practice, your own exercises. Don't rely on everything about the class because we are not going to offer everything. We are not offering everything. We are just we are just guiding you through this journey. So allow me to share my screen. I'll allow for questions after the session is done. And also I'll allow for feedback and any other information that will seem necessary at the moment. So let me just disable this part. Also for the Q&A, yeah, so that we can be able to just spin the class as soon as possible. We get it done faster, then we can have time for questions, then we can end the class. In between 1 hour to 1.5 hours about there, yeah, not much to be talked about. The morning and the afternoon sessions, we covered them. Same information is going to be shared right now, different delivery of modes and so on. Yep, so, let me just bring up my screen. So last week we covered, we left it at DOM, removing elements, things to do with that. So today we are going to cover event listeners. That is advanced JavaScript and a few things here and there. Do two projects and then we are going to be okay. Okay, so let me just bring up my week 7. Beginning. There you go. Now, when we talk about event handlers, what are we talking about? This is a very, very vital information that you have to know. You have to know about event listeners so that it should not be hard. It should not be hard for you to understand. It should be easy. It should be easy for you to understand, flowing, and what have you. So that is what we want to get to it right now. Allow me to pull up my notes. As we prepare for specialization, it is important to understand event listeners because that is what drives web development. So I'm just going to spotlight a few things on event listeners, then we can be able to do projects. Yeah. So when you talk about event listeners, in a nutshell, we are saying that an event is any interaction or system triggered action in the browser. So when you do something like you click a button, you submit a form, you press a key on the keyboard, you press something on your mouse, you reload the page, you scroll the page, the browser page, you resize it, and so on. So the browser detects these interactions and gives us a chance to respond to them using event handlers. That is what we are talking about. So I'm going to paint a picture around that so that we can be able to understand all of this. So events dot yes. So when you talk about event answers, we have a couple of them. So we use add event listeners to watch for events on elements. When I talk about elements, I'm talking about document object model elements or DOM elements. So we use something like add event listeners to watch for events on elements and define what should happen when they occur. Something like you are waiting on something when you're in high school, when the bell rang, automatically a certain event was supposed to happen. You pull out your plate, you pull out your spoon, fork, then you start marching out of the class to go to the dining hall. So the event here was the bell. So the bell was rang. And the following and what happened after that is now going to eat lunch. So that pretty much defines it. But in the perspective of web development, you can click on a button to submit your data. That's an event. You click on a button, a submit event. So that's a submit event. What should happen is now what the handler function does. Like it is going to define the way forward after submitting what next. So pretty much that is. So just to have a syntax of what you're talking about is that you start by an element. When I talk about an element, I don't know if I can find, let me see, draw. I don't know if I can find something to draw. Um, Let me install Draw.io. I think it's going to help me. But it's going to help me later on, maybe. But I'm just trying to paint a picture here for you guys. So this element here that you're seeing here, this one is a document object model element. So let me see. Just hold on. Don't know how to activate it. Okay, I think I know now. So events dot draw IO. Think it should suffice. I will not draw IO, or what am I writing here? Let me switch to a pre-release version. Mhm. Am I writing it correctly? Draw IO. Yeah, there you go. This is what I was trying to explain here. So just trying to paint a picture of what exactly you're talking about. So don't know. Cancel. Let me draw some shapes here just to explain the shapes. Yep. So let's picture this one. Let us picture this as an element. Let us picture this one as an element. So, element. So DOM element. So this one, what you're seeing here, I don't know how I can be able to do it, but so this one, is a DOM element, as you can see. That one. dot add event listener, event type. Yep, something like that. Let me drag it a bit inwards so that you can have that painting of that picture really well. I think I'm audible enough. Kindly confirm with a thumbs up or thumbs down if I'm audible. Yeah, I'm audible, I think, yeah. So what you're seeing here, people, let me just drag it here a bit. Yeah. So this one is a DOM element. Yeah, there. So element is the DOM element. And then what you have here is now the event, like the type of event listener that you're talking about. You see, we have several types of event listeners. So the one that you're seeing here, let me just point. So this one is an event listener. So an event listener of sorts. And what you're seeing here, this one is an event type already defined, and then we have a handler function. So this one is a DOM element. This is you now. This is you acting. And then this one is the type of event, the prompt, like we are prompt to move forward with time. When the bell rings, we move forward with time. So we add the event type, which is the bell ringing, and then us going to lunch is now the function that you're trying to do here. So this essentially is what I'm talking about, event listeners. But let us proceed and paint it really well. So we have categories of event listeners. We have categories. So we have listeners that have functions with the name function. So when you talk with the name function, we're talking of something like this. So you have your event here. You have your event here. No, your function handler here. So whatever you want your functions to do. And then after that, you have something like that. So this one is coming from the DOM. So we are going to see how to define this DOM. A good example to define this DOM is when we did selecting of the DOM. So for example, when you say const is equals to button, not button, no. Button equals to document dot get elements by ID, then you slap your ID there, my ID. So then you can now pick this one button. This button, you put it here. So you see, in this state, this one is a DOM, document object model element, because it is already morphed or modified to be in that state. So you pick this one and then you put it inside here. Other people, they prefer doing the old-fashioned way. The old-fashioned way, I call it, they do like this. Then they come and slap this guy here. So they come and do it this way. So line 12 is the old-fashioned way, whereby you just combine everything. But this one is so long, so boring. That's why we tend to remove it and use this way. So you define, make sure you define this one you've already done. And then that DOM element, which is you're talking about here, is now what we put it here. Then here, add event listener. We have add event listener. We have remove event listener. Then this one is the event type. And then this one is the handler, the type of function that you are calling, but in this time you're calling it by name. Now we have another one, which is anonymous function. So with anonymous function. That function doesn't have any name. So in that case, you have things something like this one. So you have your event, your DOM, then add event listener, then blah, blah, blah. So as you can see, the function doesn't have any name, not as compared to one that we're seeing in line 5. So function doesn't have any name, then you can be able to call it directly, just like that. But take good note of this one. After defining them, that is when you come and reuse this one. So we have another one, which is the favorite, should be the favorite for you, or with an arrow function. With an arrow function. So when you talk about an arrow function, essentially it's simple. Still on the button, you can just replace this function name and just use arrow function. So parentheses, equal sign, and greater than sign. That one makes it. So let us talk about common types of event, because as you can see here, you're just talking about click, click, but trust me, we have more than 10. We have more than 10 and counting. So I think we have more than 10, even close to 15 or something, even 20 event types that you can be able to talk about. So let us list a few. So I happen to have some of them in my list here. Let me just pull them up. The common event types. So we have the mouse over. So the mouse event. So talk about the mouse event, talk about double clicking. We are talking about clicking, mouse down, mouse up, mouse over, mouse out, mouse move. So something like click. Click event is what we have been talking about. That is when you click something using your touchpad or your mouse. You have double click, of course, as the word suggests, double clicking. The mouse down and the mouse up. So when you say mouse down, you say that when you press your mouse, when you press your mouse, the mouse down, your button on your mouse goes down. When you release it, that's when it's mouse up. So for example, a good example of mouse down is when you click like that. So when you click like that, you can do a lot of things. When you release it, something, you can just release it, or maybe you're playing a game or something. Then you have mouse over. So mouse over is when you hover on something. For example, when you hover on that one, you get this information. When you remove it, something happens. That is JavaScript events. Then you have mouse move. So mouse move is when you move an element. So moving over elements, just like this. As you can see, I'm getting previews as I move. As I move, I get previews like that. So we have another one, which is keyboard. So keyboard events. Even this one, when you do like this one is an event when you highlight. So keyboard events, the key down is when you press the key. So the key is pressed down on the keyboard. When you key up is when you release it. When you keep pressing it and doing things like that on your keyboard, that's another issue. So we have another one, which is form event, submit, change, focus, blur. Then we have document, window, which comes with the load, resizing, scrolling, and loading just on the browser alone. Remember, on the browser alone. Something like VS Code. VS Code is built with Electron.js, so which means JavaScript as well. So when we talk about events, we have something called the event object. So all of this information, for you to get it right, I don't know if I can get that. Let me find if I can. Let me check if I can get that. Anime engine, no. Imagine explainer, no. There's a site that I can find it for you that is going to be so great and comes in handy for your work. I'm going to find it. Let me see. No, not that one. Anime, not really. Anyway, I think I forgot about it. And I remember in the course of the session, I'm going to inform you of what it does. So anyway, let us proceed. So the event object. So talk about the event object. Every time an event occurs, the browser creates an event object. So this event object is going to contain details about the interaction. It's going to contain details about the interaction. So have that in mind. So that one is going to lead us to something called event propagation. So I'm not going to dwell on other things. Let me just tell you about event propagation. So there's something, let me see, capturing, if I can get here. I think this is it. I want to pull a certain image here that should help us. Let me pull a certain image here that is going to help us. I don't know if it is clear. If it is not clear, let me pull another one just from here. I think it is this one. Perfect. Now, when you talk about event propagation, you really need to understand a few aspects here. So event propagation is when you click on something inside a nested structure. When you click on something inside a nested structure. So let me give you an example of a nested structure. We are moving on events, understand the types of the common events that we have, how you can be able to use your handlers, functions, how you can be able to write a syntax. So that when we go to a project, you can know, okay, this is how our event listeners work. The more important part is not even this one or this one. It's understanding what this function does. And everything about UM can fall under handler function. So let us do index.html. So let us pull up something about HTML. Then I'm going to show you something. So when you say div button, so then you can say click me. So this is an example of a nested structure in HTML that can be converted or morphed into DOM. So nested in the essence that you can see div is a parent, button is a child. So this one is nested. You're going inside. So when you click on something inside a nested, so inside the div structure or nested structure, as you can see here, the browser handles the event in two phases. Remember, in two phases. If it is nested, it is going to handle it in two phases. Phase number one is called capturing phase, which is rarely used, not commonly used. This is where you start from the ancestor, you go all the way to the grandchild. Ancestor in the essence, wow. So you start from the document, you go to HTML. Of course, we normally don't use head. You go to body, then inside body, you go inside, you take a look at div, then you can go and take a look at button. So you started from top here, then you went all the way inside. So like the event is being caught on its way down to the target. So you can be able to have the event on the button, or you can have the event in the div. Anyhow, you can be able to catch it as you go down. So the other common way, I know this is a very new term, even for those people who have done HTML or JavaScript beginners. Some of you have not heard of event propagation, but just hear me out. You go and do your own research. Then you have the bubbling phase. So the bubbling phase, like I said, it is the opposite, the most common used one. So you start from the button, you go to the div. So you start from the grandchild, you go up the hierarchy of that family. You go up to the ancestor on top there. So let's say this one is a grandchild, child, parent, then HTML is a grandparent, then great-grandparent is the document. So you have to understand that. So this is like the event bubbles up or goes up from the click element. So when you click the button, it moves all over to the document. Then it renders there. So let me show you an example. So because you are still in this, where's my browser there? So let me first of all show you. So this one is the capturing. You start from the document, you go to HTML, body, div, button. So this one is the target. Because events work with targets. So this one was clicked, so started from here all the way to here. This one is very rare capturing, but this one is the most common on bubbling. Starting from the button, you click, then it goes div, and then it renders on the document. So this one is an event propagation in phases, two phases. Very rare, most common. Now, let us take a look at an example. So let us fire this one up. Now, now watch as it unfolds. So script. So we are using internal JavaScript. So it is very easy. Like I told you here, I can be able to come and use the old-fashioned way, or I can just use this one. So this one is the most common one. You select elements, then you can use that DOM element to call out this one. So you can come and say here, so let us do const, your normal DOM that you have done. Then you can come and say my div. And remember, we are using casing. I'm going to explain about casing immediately after this. So my div, then document dot get element by ID, but I don't have ID. So I have so many alternatives. I have get element by ID, I have query selector. I can use any. But let me use what you guys already understand. So I can just come and change here. I come and say ID, div ID. So that I can be able to call it directly. So get element by ID, then I can be able to call it like that. So I'm able to call it like that. So get element by ID, which is very fast, specific. So after that, I can now call my div dot add event listener. I guess you are getting now. Are you getting the point? Give me a reaction. Are you getting now what I'm trying to say about event listeners? Give me a reaction. Nice. Now, as we move forward, we are now getting to have what we want. So my div is now what you've just created now here, the usual one, the DOM element. The event listener is called add event listener, but we said we also have remove event listener, but we are focusing on this. It is the most common one. Then we put an event. So it's a button that we're talking about. So it's a click event. It's a click event. Then you put a comma. Then now you can put your function, whatever you want to happen. So you can come and use a function here. Let me use my arrow function, or let me just use the normal function without any parameter. Then what I want to happen is an alert. I want an alert to happen, so I can say, hey, yo, what's up? So I have to put link like that. Somebody is giving me thumbs down. What's the issue? So the function, remember, this is the handler function. So you can decide, you put the function just like this, as an anonymous function, or you can put the function outside of whatever you want to happen, then you can call this function inside there. The whatever way you want to choose, that's up to you. Just make sure your code executes fast and efficiently. So the function starts there and ends there. So we want when you click, something happens. So let us go and see. So when you go here, when I click here, you have, hey, yo, what's up? You see? But I'm wondering, somebody's wondering, when I click here, happens. This is the button. But then when I do that, outside the button, it works. Now, this is what I was talking about. When you click something inside a nested structure, the browser handles it in two phases. So I'm working with this. So this one is the one that is affected. But when I click the button, it's also affected. Let me style it a bit for you to be able to understand. I want to paint a picture there, so I can just come here. I want to do something here very funny. So class, my div. So I come here. I want to paint something here that is going to help you. Background color, yellow. I don't know why I like yellow, but this is what you're saying. So your div, this is what your div is covering. You see? Like, but when I click here, when I click outside the yellow, nothing is happening. But when I click inside the yellow, even if it is here, it is going to react. Why? Because it is the only part that is affected. So it's a nested structure. It handles it in two phases, upwards and downwards. So if I shift this one and remove it from there and put it inside the button, so the button is the only one that is going to be affected. So refresh it. So when I click here, nothing happens. You see, nothing, nothing, nothing. But when I click inside the button, something happens. Are you understanding what I'm trying to say now? So that's the point that I'm trying to drive home for you to be able to understand it in details. That the only part that is affected is the one that we are calling out. So we called out using the get element by ID. Specificity. So we are specifics on what we want exactly. So that's just an example of event listeners. So we are listening to that event that is happening. So even if I come and style this however I want, I can come here and say margin, give it 50 pixels. So it is going down. Let us slap it up, slap a padding. Let us put social distancing. Padding is now social distancing from it and the inner wall. So let us put another 50. And there you go. So as you can see, we are padding it. We are putting social distance. Margin is now for the external walls. Padding is for internal walls. If you want to spot a difference there. So that I can just bring this one back and slap an effect there. So anytime I click inside that box, outside, nothing, nothing. Inside, we have something. Anywhere inside. So this yellow background was just trying to shed light so that you cannot confuse. Is it div affected or button? No, it is everything inside the div. So the div itself and everything within the div. So that is now event propagation in a nutshell. Now, let us proceed. In the real world scenarios, you are going to get a lot of information. Just go and learn more about event listeners because it is going to come in handy. It is going to come in handy, trust me. So let us do a couple of projects. I'm done with event listeners. Let me pick a question. Let me now go and pick a question. There's somebody who has their hand raised up. Raise your hand up now. Let's make us where you. I've allowed you now to talk. Raise makers, where are you? Let me also allow the Q&A. I want to get feedback on the event listeners. I'm done with the event listeners. I just wanted to paint that picture to you. Then we can do projects. You see, somebody's wondering, why are you not doing practice? No. You are going to understand event listeners when you do more practice. So we are going to do a couple of projects. We see how function, if else function, you switch cases, all of these things come up, DOM merging together with all of this to do with the event listeners. But event listeners are going to be shouting all over. So they shout all over. Questions or comments or feedback. So this place, let me just repeat it. So when I talk about nested, I talk about you can go inside. Like a good example is within your house, you can have a metal box whereby you store things. So you have an apartment, you live in an apartment. Within an apartment, you have a house. Within a house, you have a box. Within a box, you have something else. So that is called nested. You go inside or you can go outside. So you can go towards in or towards out. So in that effect, for event propagation, we are saying that a good example is that have this body as an apartment. Within the apartment, you have div, which is a house. Then within div, you have a metal box, which is a button. So when you put an effect, when you want to affect anything within the house and the house itself, you put it on the house. So when you say, I want this to put this one in the house, so that anything that is inside the house is going to be affected and the house itself, but not outside. So outside is the apartment, so the neighbor is not going to hear that. So inside your box, you might have your cat. So when you cook, the aroma of the food is going to affect the house and anything inside the house. So which means even the cat inside the box is going to be affected. But the neighbors are not going to have that smell of that aroma. Let me paint the food because it is now evening time here in Kenya. People are preparing meals. You're getting that in mind? Great. Now, having that in mind, you're going to see that when I change this one and bring it now to the box, the house is not going to have an effect. You see? Or I can just remove this one. Let me show you. And put it in the body. So when I put it on the body, watch and see. Anything. Let me refresh. I don't know if it's going to work. I don't know if it works. Okay, it cannot work. It cannot work because this one is inside there. So it cannot work. It cannot work on this unless we put this one outside. But essentially, you cannot work on the div, on the body. So it cannot affect it. So let us just go back. I just wanted to put that across. I hope you've understood, Catherine. So nested related to birds. Yeah, perfect, Douglas. I think you're now getting the point. Yeah, you're getting it. You see, that analogy, for me, I like to translate it to my own language. How I'm going to understand it. If it means food, I'm going to use food. You see? If it means playing games, I'm going to do. If it means playing PlayStation, I'm going to do that in the best way you understand it. Sometimes you take this question, you bring it to ChatGPT, then you tell it to explain it in the simplest analogy using food. Trust me, it is going to use that. Yeah, you see, Catherine, great. Now let us proceed. Allow me now to do some projects. Then we can lay it off. Please, on Wednesday, show up. I'm going to do a full, what do you call, rundown of the catch-up for web development. Yeah. I'm not going to be intense in JavaScript because we already done that. We have spent time, like 3 consecutive classes on JavaScript, really intense. I'm going to cover a few things on there, but we are going to do a rundown. So the catch-up class on Wednesday is going to be from 2 p.m. to around 4:30. That's the time that we have stipulated for the catch-up for web development. I think for database, we have that on in the morning, the same day. We are talking about this Wednesday. Next Wednesday, we have another catch-up. But classes, I want the classes to be done by this Wednesday. I'm sorry, last Wednesday, we had master classes, a master class that I was the one launching it for AI Safari. So I'm sorry for that, but we have been given another opportunity to extend. That's why specialization has been delayed a bit to allow learners to catch up. So it is going to be a 2 hours, 30 minutes or to 3 hour session, just brushing through from start to finish. But this time you're brushing through not as a green person, not as a beginner completely. You're brushing through as somebody who really understands it well. So you're just trying to get that wrapped up so that you can jump on the next wagon. Okay, so let us go and do a couple of projects. Just 2 projects. I don't want to extend by far. Yeah, so I want to do a digital clock. I want to do a digital clock. I want to do a digital clock. And then I want to do what? I want to do a checklist, a task checklist with status. I've done a couple of projects since morning. The project that I did in the morning, they're different. The afternoon one are different. The evening one are different. So you have 6 projects. You have 6 projects to just enjoy. Yeah. They get better, by the way. So let us do a project here. So digital clock. .html. So here you can come and say, let's just call it digital clock. Let me pull up my notes. Okay, digital clock. Very easy. It's going to be a simple one. Then we are going to do checklist with status. So I want to do something with the neon clock, a neon look. I don't know if you know the glowing neon look. So we are going to use something called the styling called from Google APIs. So we are going to get fonts there. Don't worry, the session is being recorded and the repo is going to be shared. I think you already have the repo by there. I'm just going to push it. Go on WhatsApp, announcements, just check that repo that I just posted today in the afternoon, and then you're going to help yourself from there. I'm not going to focus on CSS. I'm not going to focus on HTML. My focus is on JavaScript. Okay? Now, for this one, JavaScript is going to be very, very simple without any add event listeners. Let me see. Okay, so let me see. Stop that one. And then let us fire another one. Let us fire another one. So what we are going to do here, now, yeah, I think I'm now ready. I didn't want this one to be so long, but anyway, I'm going to make it long. So digital clock. I'm not going to focus on CSS or HTML, so allow me to just copy the CSS part of it and put it inside here. So let me zoom out to have some space. Fire this one up. So we want a background that is a bit dark. Yeah, that's like that. Let us do HTML. Let's do HTML. And then let us see. So this is what we have. Is it beautiful? Yeah, I think so. So when you hover, there's something. But we have not even used the JavaScript. So when you toggle format, something happens. So I wanted it to have specifics. Okay, so script. I think we're on time now. Let me zoom in so that we can be able to see everything. So script, internal JavaScript. So we are going to do a couple of things. So it is an interactive digital clock, yeah. It's going to have a couple of effects. So let us initialize a couple of things. So variables. So let is 24-hour be true. So by default, it's on 24 hours mode. And then can say let clock interval. Oh, I said that I'm going to talk about casing. So we have several casing in programming languages. You're going to understand why I'm using camel casing. So camel casing, that's what you're using here. So we have so many cases. For me, I started learning using Pascal cases, but we have so many cases that we can be able to use. So for example, camel case, this one is the most available that we normally used in Java, JavaScript, C#, Swift, and so on. So it is where you start by lowercase, then at the middle you have uppercase, and so on. Something like that. I think you have seen that in JavaScript. Pascal case, you have it is like the uppercase camel case. So it is where this is how you do it. As you can see, same Java, C#, JavaScript, but it's for TypeScript. TypeScript is the superset of JavaScript. Amazing language, by the way. Then you have snake case. Of course, Python is being used here because, of course, Python is a snake. So Python, then you have Ruby and all of that. So it's where you do use underscores between. Then you have kebab's case, whereby you use hyphens. So all of this casing, you have to understand which to use where. So it is important. I should not see snake case in your JavaScript. It is going to be a shameful. Like it is going to be, it's going to look like you don't know how to code. So please, next time, make sure you don't have an issue like that. So that's why you're seeing me using camel case all over. That's why you can be able to see even the add event listener is on camel casing. It's a concept that you, when you understand it, you are set apart from the general programmers. So it's running. So is the clock running? So by default true. Now, let us select a couple of elements or const. We are going to say something like clock L. So let us say document dot get element by ID. So the ID that you're fetching here, it is this one called clock. So that's the ID that you're fetching here. And then you can have const. Let us have another one status L document. Forgive me if I'm going faster. Forgive me if I'm going faster, but you're going to have these codes available to you. If you don't understand what a certain line does, you can as well copy it, the entire project, take it to ChatGPT, tell ChatGPT, kindly explain this project to me like I'm a beginner. Break it down like I'm green to this thing, like I'm new to this thing. It is going to explain it to you really, really detailed. So trust me, then you compare the notes with what I'm talking about, you're going to be a happy person. So don't worry. Otherwise, I'm not used to going slowly, even when I'm coding myself. I don't go slowly by slowly, no. I do it in a good way, like in a speed way, so that I can be able to cover as much as possible in the shortest time possible. Has any one of you done a hackathon? Not this hackathon that we do on PLP, those premier hackathons with the dollars and dollars of money. If you go there, you see that you can spin up a concept. I have done a hackathon last year whereby I did 3 projects in one night, but in the morning, I chose one. So I did 3 so that I can have the liberty to choose one. So imagine the speed, and I became number 2. The same project led to a mega hackathon, which I won about $5,000. No, first of all, I won $3,000 for the mega hackathon, which led to an incubation for $5,000. So let's say in that particular project, I backed out close to 1.2 M Kenya shillings just last year. So speed matters. And last year I was building a gaming engine. So speed matters. You're going to find yourself in a position whereby you have a very large code base and they're supposed to deliver. So speed matters. Speed and accuracy, just like in maths, speed and accuracy. I'm not trying to tell you these things to demean you or to have that superiority complex. No, you're not an inferior before me. I'm just trying to advise. So we have something here. Let me just copy it, a function. Now, this function, what happens here? So what you're seeing here, we are writing a function to update the clock. So I think you're seeing how my programming works. You start by defining your stuff. Then after selecting elements, now you can do the rest. But in case we have started by defining our variables, then we selected our elements, then now we can do our functions. So update clock. First of all, we say, let us see the now, like what is the time now? So const now is equals to new date, then we fetch the time now. So if you want to get hours, we have a function called get hours. It's going to fetch hours. For the minutes, and as you can see, for hours, it is in let. For minutes, we have a different perspective, which is minutes and second, we have const. Then we have period. Don't worry, all of these things, you can be able to understand it and like break it down. Let me see. Okay, yeah. So let me explain it for like so that you can be able to understand, because some people are saying, now, then what are you talking about? What are these, man? Okay, don't worry. So start by defining a function, of course, update clock. So this function gets the current time. Number one. Number two, it's going to format it. Number three is going to display it on the screen. That's the responsibility. So line 94. So line 94, what you're seeing here, const now new date. What you're seeing is not magic. What you're trying to say here, this one is going to create a date object. And then this date object is going to represent the current time and the current date from your computer. So it's going to pick the date and time from my computer. Have that in mind. Simple. Now, what happens here, it is very simple. Like he's going to get the current hour in 24 hours, of course. So it's going to get it between 0 and 23. 0 is the 24th hour. So between 0 to 23, those are 24 hours. Have that in mind. And then we have the one for minutes. So this one is going to get the current minutes from 0 to 59. 0 is the 60th hour, 59. So 0 to 59, those are 60 minutes. Then it's going to convert them to string. As you can see, we are wrapping it with string. You are going to see the previous session that I did something to convert text to integers. In the morning, I did another one converting text to float. So this one I'm doing to convert it to string. So converting this minutes to string. Then I'm going to use pad 2. So what it means is going to ensure, it ensures two digits. So if it is 7 o'clock in the morning, it is 07, not 7, 07. So pad, you're saying 2. So it's going to attach 0 at each if it is on 0. So that's what you're seeing there. Now, for the seconds, simple. Same thing as for minutes, but this one is in seconds. And then for the period, what you're trying to say, we prepare a variable to hold the AM and the PM. Just without using computer, what is AM and what is PM? Let me, don't Google. Let us see if people went to school here. On the charts, please, what is AM and what is PM? Quickly, I want to see it, quick thinkers. People have just Googled. Right now, I cannot accept answers. People are saying after midnight, past midnight. Hey, answers. I like your answers, man. Pre-meridian, past meridian. Wow. Anti-meridian. Whatever. You just Google now and laugh at yourself. Not yourself, because some people are going to to go for their school fees. Anyway, that's a good one. Now, it's going to prepare a variable to hold. So this period is going to prepare a variable to hold the AM and the PM in case we are using 12 hours format. As you can see here, we are preparing so that in case we are using 12-hour format, use that one. As you can see, for me, I'm not using 12 hours format, I'm using 24 hours. I like it that way. So what you're seeing right now here is this one means that if we are not using 24 hours time, we switch to 12 hours system. So it's 24. Remember, it was the default, right? True. It's 24 is true. If it is not, which you negate using that exclamation before, you're saying that you're not using 24. If that's the case, we switch to 12 hours by saying if it is noon or afternoon or after, you say just 12 you add. So that one sets it to PM. Otherwise, it is going to for AM. And then we have this 1 hour. So we are going to convert 24-hour time to 12 hours. So we are using something called modulus. So in modulus, this is how we do it, by the way, for those who don't know. That's how time is being converted using modulus. You get the remainder. So we are saying that right now it is 1935 on my timer, right? So I come and put 19 here. I divide by 12. The remainder, that is the time that you're working with. That is the time that you're working with. So you can just let me pull up my calculator. We see if I'm talking the truth here. So 19 divided by 12. So the remainder, we're talking about 1. No, modulus. Where is modulus here? This is modulus. I'm not talking about division. I'm talking about modulus. Huh? That a malformed expression. What the hell? Let me pick another advanced one. Will it work really? Uh-huh. Why is it not working? Let me see. Anyway, let me see if I can be able to change it. People are laughing at me. Why? You want me to cry right now? So 19 hours from 24 hours to 12 hours system using modulus. When I say mod something, I remember a unit that I did in campus. The first one was number theory when I was in first year. Very difficult unit for maths, which is a fundamental for cryptography and steganography. Yeah, so this is how you do it. You see, I was right. I don't know how this modulus works, but I was right. So you see, 19 modulus 12, you get 7, which is 7 p.m. right now. So anytime I see this thing, I see cryptography and steganography. Cryptography, the study of hiding, like you're trying to hide. Steganography is the study of hiding hidden words. I did that when I sat for my degree, cybersecurity. So this is how you do it, by the way. I was right. 19 modulus. I don't know my calculator. I think my calculator is outdated. Yeah, my calc is outdated. Now let us go back. Let's go back. We are doing well. We are doing well. So 19 modulus 12, you get 7 p.m. Otherwise, you switch to, now this one is OR, this one is a gate. So what you're saying here, we are converting 24-hour time to 12 hours. So if this one is 0, modulus 12, it's going to give us 0, but we want 12 for midday, so it's going to switch to that. So this one, this OR is here in the place that whenever you get a remainder of 0, when you say modulus, you want a remainder. Whenever you get a remainder of 0, switch to the other way, which is 12 hours. So if it is midnight, it's going to give you 12 a.m., just like that. And then I think for this hour, so hour, string, hours, blah, 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 I think you might see it's trying to linger to something like this, but it's different. So this one is going to turn, line 105, is going to turn the hour into 2-digit string. So this one also is in 2-digit. Also, this one is going to be turned into 2 digits, just like that. So already we had this one, but I don't see the essence of putting it twice. But okay, I don't see the essence of putting it twice. I can just take this one. I can just take this one and slap it right now here. It's going to work the same thing. But we had to use this one so that we can go to have that conversion. And that's why you are able to see we have let this one, and then the others we have const, which means you cannot be able to change. But for this one, it is going to be flexible because of 24 hours and 12 hours time system. That's why it is here before after conversion. Now, the clock L that you're seeing here. So what we're trying to say, we are trying to combine everything into this format. You're trying to combine everything into a certain format. If it is in 24-hour system, you're going to see 1940, 38, 13, 40 seconds. If it is 12-hour system, you're going to see 07, not 7, 07, 40, 46 seconds. That's what you're going to see. So this one is going to take it and is going to set it inside here. Inside here. So in this format, you're going to see it in this format. You see? Simple. Now, in short, this function builds a string like this number here, or in 12 hours or 24-hour system. So let us see. I don't know if it is working yet, but no. We are going to see if it is going to work. We will see if it is going to work. People have been asking questions. Let me see. Okay. The repo is going to be shared. School fees, number theory, is showing me, yeah, number theory is not a joke, but it's one of the best units. I'm not trying to scare anyone, please. I'm not trying to scare anyone. I'm not trying to scare anyone. I've just done it from experience. I've just done it from experience. I've done a degree in cybersecurity, but I wanted to major in software. So I went to data science. I did machine learning and everything back then in 2022, 2023. I went for data engineering full on with AWS and Azure, and also I think IBM. I did IBM, part of it. Yeah, and then I decided to go into software engineering fully fledged. And now last year I did blockchain. So I ventured on a blockchain ICP. Yep. I was a learner at PLP cohort 1 2022, the class of 2022. That is my brain. I'm not trying to do things like superiority complex, please. No, no, that's not me. If I'm scaring you, sorry. No, I'm not trying to do that. I'm just trying to tell you that you have 24 hours a day, but you decide to use 12 hours and saying that I have 8 hours to sleep. Continue sleeping. Yeah, continue sleeping. Continue sleeping. You have 24 hours a day. You pretend that you have 12 hours. Let me put these comments aside first, then you can be able to come back to class. I want you guys focused. So that's what I can tell you. You continue thinking you have 12 hours. My friend, you have 24 hours. Yeah. So let us proceed. We are getting there, guys. Now, let us see a couple of these functions. Let me just copy all of them, and then I'm going to explain. And my most important part is not even the function. The functions you guys already know. Now, starting from here, line 110. So, as you can see here, this one is responsible for setting a clock in an interval. And don't worry about this one. You should not be scared. So what it does is going to start the clock if it is not already running. So it is responsible. If the clock interval, as you can see here, it is saying not working, then you can able to set it to start. So it is going to call the update clock. This one is going to call update clock every second using the set interval. So every second, which is 1,000 milliseconds. In programming, you don't use, we use milliseconds. And then it's going to mark it as running. So you remember we said about running, it's going to mark it as running. Then after that, it's going to call the update status. to update it on the screen. It's going to throw it and slap it on the screen for you to be able to see it now. After that, we have the stop clock. Very simple. It's going to stop the ticking. So that ticking that you're seeing there on the screen is going to stop it. It's going to use the clear interval to clear the interval. Then it's going to clear the interval so it won't keep updating second by second. So when I said updates each and every second, of course, we're using milliseconds, like I said. Time goes second by second, second by second. That's what you're supposed to understand there. Now, it's going to turn off this running. So its running is going to be off, and then it's going to update the status. How about the toggle clock running? So this one is going to flip between the start and stop. This one is it is in the middle of start and stop. This one that you're seeing here. So if it is running, stop it. If it is not, start it. Simple. So it is a bit connected to the double click on the clock. It's a bit connected to the double click on the clock. So we are going to see how double click is going to help us somehow. And then, of course, we have the toggle format, which is going to flip between 24 and 12-hour system. This is the responsible function for that. I could have just junk all of this in one function, but I decided to separate them for better programming. And then we have the reset clock. So this one is going to reset everything back to the original mode. So it's going to default to 24 hours, which is the default one. It's going to default to clock running. It's going to refresh the display of the text and everything. And then we have the update status. So this one is what we have been referring to. We have been updating. So what is happening here is the update status. So updates the line below the line of the clock that says forward 24 hours system. Like I told you here, we're going to update this line here. So format 12 hours or format 24 hours, running or not. So that is what is going to happen. Now we are about to enter into something called events. Then we can be able to close it and see if our timer is working, because we have not even started the clock. So let us do events. So for the events, what are events going to help us? Because we just declared them here, line 90, but we didn't do anything. So what is going to happen? So let us now start using them. So we are going to say here, so events. So we are going to say clock L dot add event listeners. Then you're going to say we are going to respond to a click. So responding to that click is going to result for us to use the toggle format. So we are toggling the format. So toggle format. I've already explained what toggle format works with or works for. Then we have another one for clock L. We are going to use this one differently. So add event listener, of course, we are responding to a double click. So how do you put a double click? You're not just going to say double click. So you're going to say DB click. So DBL click, that one is an event. So we have so many events. DBL click, as you can see, responds to a double click. So double click, we already said that it's going to respond to toggle clock running. When you double click it, it's going to override and run it. And then I think that's it. What we can do is we can add other events, or we can just come here, by the way, and add other things, or we can let us just do it here, below here, and come and say something like, try to think of a word. Toggle, so const, toggle FMT BTN. So toggle format BTN. So toggle format button. That is what I'm going to bring there. So it is document.get element by ID. So there's this thing that I'm going to look for. Yeah, it is. Copy it, go down, and then slap it right now. So there. And then we are not done. So let us do another one. So we can say reset lock. btn, just like that. So then you come and say document dot get element by ID, and then you slap something there, which is reset button for resetting everything, just like that. Then after that, we can go now to call them again. So toggle format btn dot add event listener. The event that you are responding to is called click. And then what are we going to call? We are going to call the toggle format. And then I think that's okay. Then we can do the next one, which is reset. Set click btn dot add event listener, responding to click. Then it's going to respond to reset lock, just like that. So that is done. After that, let us now start everything. So start initially. So start initially, you're just going to call the start clock function. After that, you're going to call the update clock function. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, you should have a digital clock. Look at that. I can remove this one. You can see when these ones are gone, it is 0. When I activate this one, it is going to result back, but it's going to stack at there. So this one is the one that is supposed to be activated. There you go. So I can toggle format, just like that. I can toggle, I can set everything back, toggle, toggle, as you can see. And when you hover, something happens really nice. Isn't that beautiful? It's picking my local time. As you can see, they are matching. They are matching. So yeah, I think that's it. We can do another one, which is the next project. Let me find out. My notes, my notes, my notes, my notes. In the afternoon, we did rock, paper, scissors. I've done digital clock. Let us do a checklist. And then you can call it a session. Let me get your reactions. Do you understood so far? I've enabled the charts. Yeah, the aim is sleep. Check I'm going to share the repo for this one. I'm going to push after the class today. Then we are going to see that. You're going to find in the repo. Just check the morning and the afternoon, and then we have this one for the evening. And how old am I? Hey. How can I answer that question? Just know I'm married, but I'm young. Seriously, Nicholas? Anyway, you guys don't have mercy. Um, I'm just a Gen Z. Just to sum it all, I'm a Gen Z, like most of you. Now, Kabarak University. Anyway, let us continue the class. Let me do another project, then we can be able to sum it all up. Then we can now make stories. So, okay. I think now you are seeing the power of JavaScript. I think now you are seeing the power of JavaScript. You see? I think now you're seeing The power of JavaScript. I'm very sure I'm going to find this one in somebody's code in future. I'm very sure in a certain hackathon that is coming ahead. But anyway, the point is, as long as you do it correctly. Now, let us do a checklist. Like I said, I'm not focusing on CSS or HTML. My focus is the interactiveness. So let us do this one more project, then we can call it a day. So this project, we are talking about checklist. So checklist is when we are going to a shopping or a task you have done. You are checking, I've done this one, I've not done this one. So let me continue. So HTML5, then you can say task checklist. Don't be intimidated, please don't be intimidated by anyone. Never do that. And never take somebody else story as a threat, like this person is showing off or nothing. No, 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 no. Just like, okay, this I'm not going to bring this one up, but that person sat down, they did their best to achieve what they have achieved. So if they are giving their story, so just take it positively. Don't feel jealous. Don't be envious. That person took time. So you cannot be jealous or envious because they sat down, they did their work. So they are just giving their testimony, their experience, but not showing off. You see, showing off is for those people who I see like they have not done anything. That's when they try to show off, to prove a point. That is not me. So let us stop with this one, dispose, take this one live, and then let us do the HTML, just a small bit, just like that. There you go. I can even change this background color, it's so funny. Let us have something different here. So background, let's have the black. Black seems to merge a lot with a lot of things here. Then let us have color as white. Color white. Just like that. But then the background for this list, I want it to be a bit gray. Just like that. It's going to turn. No, don't worry, it's going to turn. And then the color for what? Remove. Okay. This particular box that you're seeing here, the task checklist, I can decide to come and just wrap it around like this. Cut that one, then do a div and put it inside there. And then I can come and slap a class here and say contain. And then I can come and take this container right now here and say dot container. Have a background color of gray, and just like that. Then I want a padding. I want a social distancing within of around 30 pixels. So push it outward like that. Then I want it at a bit down. So margin top. So I can come and say margin top. I want it to be pushed downward a bit. So give it a 25 pixels, I think. And it's not acting. Why? Let us just use margin generally. Just like that, but it is affecting. So let's just remove it. Align, align self, center. That one is not going to cut it. So align items, center, still. So let me just ignore it for now. Border radius, give it a bit, I think 20 pixels. give it like 20 pixels. The corners are so sharp. Bend it like that. And then let us make the font a bit bigger. Or I think it's okay for now. Yeah, it is okay for a task list. Then for this list, let us slap another container for this one. So div, just like that. So here you can come and say class list, my list. Come and copy it. And then you can bring it right now here, dot. You can have our own styling there. So background, color. I think for now, let us just leave it that. I'm going to put an effect to that soon. Now let us focus on JavaScript. When I go to HTML, no, CSS, I can do a lot of things. So we start with first things first. So const, we are talking about taking this out. So take task input. So first things first, task input. So for this task input, we can start with task input or just start with the task list. So I think we can start with task list because I think we are going to use that one here for now because of some reason. So uh, tsk list, tsk lst, just a random one, document dot get element by ID. The ID that we're talking about here it is, just like that. And then let us bring up something. So we want a function to add the tasks. So we want a function to add the tasks. So for us to achieve that, we're going to have this. So here now we can now bring the input now. Const, we can now bring the input now. So we can come and say input equals document dot get elements by ID. Then we can now put now our task input. There's a reason why I'm putting it inside here so that we can be able to perform within the function. And then we are taking the input from the user. So we have to remove the white spaces, all the trailing and the preceding white spaces. So to do that, const task. So the task we are taking it from the user. So input dot value dot trim. So this function called trim is going to remove the white spaces and have a clean value. After that, we want to check if the task given by the user is empty. If it is empty, we give them an alert. So if the task given by the user is a strict equivalence of empty, strict equivalence use that triple equal sign. So you should give an alert saying that stop joking, do something simple, and then you can be able to return. You should make programming fun, by the way. Stop. Now, after that, let us now try to create elements. You see, we have created an ordered list. This is an ordered list. This is an ordered list. This is an ordered list, but you have not created something that is going to create the list itself. So how can we achieve that? For this one, we're not going to have things to do with the event listeners for now. Yeah, so you can expand it as much as you want, but we're not going to do it so. So const, we are going to say li my list. So document dot create element. So we're creating an element which is a list. So li. After that, we are using the inner HTML, which is very risky, by the way. It is very risky, but anyway, inner HTML. No, it is not li. It's my list. My list dot inner HTML. So because it is going to be dynamic, I'm going to do this way. So I'm going to say span. So span is normally used in place of paragraph. So you can come and say, let us slap this one with task. And then you can close it by saying span, just like that. And then you can say, let us do one on click. When you click something here, what should happen? So on click, we should toggle something to do with the toggle done. Yeah, let us use toggle down. I'm going to reuse this one somehow. So toggle down, but I'm going to use this. I don't know if you guys know how to use that one. I don't know if you know exactly how to use that. Let me open the charts to see if people understand what I'm talking about here. Somebody saying what? Nope. Toggle down. The toggle down, we're going to call it down here. So yeah. So let me explain this function line by line in a breakdown way. Thank you for the trial, everyone. Let me go back. So, this thing that you're seeing here, the toggle done, we are trying to bring it out. So what you're saying here, the span has the on-click event. So when the event, when we click that event, it marks the task as done. That is what we are trying to explain here, but someone might not understand the function of this. I'm going to bring it in the best possible way. Anyway, I think I might found a way. This one, I just remembered I didn't teach you that. I just remember that I didn't teach you that. Now, to best explain this line, what it does, is this is like an event that you're talking about. So what happens is that in this context, this refers to the element that was clicked. So we are referring to this. You see that TikTok video that this TikToker called Kabilen was talking, never talked of anything, just pointing things like this, like this. I don't know if you cannot see me, but I think you're getting my expression here. So when you click something, let's say buy milk, the word this becomes the reference for the exact or to the exact span element. So it is being used for referencing what exactly you are talking about. So that's what you're trying to say here. So let me continue from where I left off. What's that notes? Yep, we're almost done. So for that, then let us do for the button. So button. So for this button, what you're going to say is just call this button remove. Button, remove. And then let us slap a few classes here. So class, we are going to say remove btn. I think we already did it here. Yeah, here it is, remove btn. So you're going to style a button that is not yet there. So remove btn, then it's going to respond to an on click. This is like an event that we're talking about, but I'm just giving you different versions so that you can be able to enjoy them. So remove, we're talking about remove what? Tasks. So there's that, and of course we are removing that task that it is this, we are referring to particularity. So I normally use this one for particularity. I don't know, I was in a class. I don't know if you're there. Give me a thumbs up, but I remember I was in a Python class, the same class that you are in the same cohort, and I told you about object-oriented programming, and I mentioned the function of this. Do you remember? If you remember, kindly just give me a thumbs up. I talked about particularity, right? Yeah, now I remember it is you who I told you, but in Python class, during an object-oriented programming class. If you don't remember this a certain, go and check OOP. You're going to find my recording for the afternoon class. Yeah, I was there. So I was talking about particularity. So I'm referring to this particular one, this particular task. So particularity. Anyway, let us proceed. So after that, make sure you close. And then we can say, let us now append. Because we have created a task list, which is dynamic, let us now append so that it can be able to appear there. So task, we are talking about task list now. So you can come and say, this task list, let me see how to bring it out. Well, where is it? Yeah, we're talking about this one here. I was trying to find the word, exact word, the word errors. So tsql.append. Append child, we have append, we have prepend, and so on. So we are appending what? Li, which is a list. And then we want to reset it to empty. So input, after appending it, we reset the value to empty. So reset value to exact empty. So like that. Yeah, I think that one is done. So another, we can put another function as well. Call this one toggle done. You remember the function that we talked about? This one. So this toggle done and remove task, we have to put them. Then we can finish by using the clear all, just to reset everything to normal. So this one is going to respond to the span. So it's going to take a parameter span. It's going to react to that because toggle span. Remove task, we're talking about btn. That is what you're talking about here. So it's just a parameter for referencing. So span dot. So we are going to scan through the class list and check if you have a class list. So class, it is class list. So if you have a class called toggle, we are going to check if you have a class called toggle, mark it as done. So you have to mark it as done. Where is this? I'm in a dark place. I've not switched on my light. Now, so if you are in a, if it is going to, it is going to check the class list. If there's a class list called toggle, it's going to mark it as done. Then after that, we can have the one for function for removing. So remove task. So for removing task, you're talking about a button. So btn. So for this one, we are going to focus on removing itself. So first we say a lie, just a variable called a lie. So we call button dot. So we are targeting the parent element. So the parent element, that is what you're targeting to remove. Then you can say ts list. Then we have to remove the child. Remove child. I like when it does it, like remove child, parent, and something. That is when you know that you're working with the document object model. So we're removing that child. Now, after that, let us clear the slate. You say we are now done with everything, man. So clear all. So for clear all, we are clearing the slate. So tsql list dot in HTML, just resetting everything to empty. So you remember this one? We initialized here. So you're resetting it to empty. Yeah, that is what you're doing here. So that you close. People, I think that's done. Let us go now and see if we have been wasting our time. Wallahi, we have been wasting our time. Let me see. Yeah. So my list in HTML is not a function. I knew that. I knew that. This one here. Where is it? Where did I put it? Yeah, my list is not a function. But why am I confusing myself so much? Oh, it's not a function, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, here's the issue. I didn't put an equal sign. You see these errors. We have another issue. So something is not defined here. Line 84. Line 84. Line 84. Ah, that was me. Line 84. TS list. Append child. Mm-hmm. Yes, we have defined this one. Here it is. Why are you saying that we have not defined it? We have closed everything. We are on point with everything. Ah, I know. It is not supposed to be LI. I'm very confused here. I think I'm tired for the day. It's supposed to be that one. So refresh. Yeah, there you go. You have to get errors. So we can be able to remove something. Remove, you can clear all. Checklist. So sleep, eat, dinner, and then coding, mm, work. Yeah, programmers, they don't take walks, please. So you can eat that one here, you see, and reset everything. I think that pretty much sums it all. Let me open the session now for the blast. Ask question, ask anything. If you have question, put them on the Q&A, not the chats. I'm not going to get it from the chats. As I push the code, I want to push the code in the meantime. As I get your queries, I want people raising up their hands, the chats working. Yep. Let me push. So for the Q&A, put them there. Let me allow people to raise up their hands. Yeah, we have a WhatsApp for that. Somebody kindly share the link. You can raise up your hands if you have a question or pressing one. I'm glad the repo is coming shortly. Let me just push it now. Evening. Let me use cursor so that I can do something here with it. Okay. Elizabeth, evening. Evening, Elizabeth. I've allowed you to speak. You can unmute. Any other person with a question? When did I write my first code, really? Brian, Brandon rather. Brandon.
Okay, my question is concerning okay, how do you study? Um, how did you keep it consistent without getting what do you call burnouts?
Oh, this burnout. There's something called a burnout. It's very real. That thing is terrible. So having a goal, I don't, for me, I learned throughout my programming life, I didn't have any mentor. That is for first. I'm not saying that you should not get one, but myself. I was not trying to compare myself that I want me to be the future like this guy. No, 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 no. That is my opinion. It doesn't work for everybody because other people they need mentors to push them. Trust me. For me, I'm propelling myself. Remember, I started on cybersecurity. I was really good at that stuff. Kali Linux was my normal OS. Doing packet tracing, I was creating metapretas. I was even hacking my own devices. So I became dangerous myself. So it was tempting. I shifted to another one, which is now software engineering. I started with Python, grow a bit, and now I'm somewhere. But across the journey, my goal was to be full, fully versed like a computer guy. Like I know the software, I know the cloud, I know the hardware. Right now, I'm in the process of studying embedded system, embedded system. Because for me, okay, I have all of these kits for soldering and everything. I want to study embedded system so that I can be able to, if I know the software, I can create the firmware, I can create the software, I can be able to create even the hardware. I saw on LinkedIn a guy in Nigeria or Ghana, the guy created a whole mobile device. He created everything, the PCB board and everything. But that is what I'm not trying to become like that guy. He's specialized on that area. But for me, I want to be to one day create my own computer or create my own device built by me from scratch, from like hardware, software, firmware, and everything. So pushing yourself, having a goal that nobody is going to believe in you, that's the best. When they understand and when they underestimate you, that is when you fire thrusters and move forward and pass them.
Okay, that was good.
Nice. Yeah. Brett Gameli. Yeah, that one is a genius. I don't know if I can call him a genius, but he's really good. He did his cybersecurity in South Korea. Anyone with a question, let me sync these changes right now. Let me try and fetch that WhatsApp. I think I didn't have that WhatsApp link. Anyone? Let me fetch that WhatsApp link in a minute. No, I did computer security and forensics. I'm sharing the WhatsApp link right now and also what do you call, the GitHub. So let me fetch the GitHub one. I've already synced my changes. Okay, let us go and fetch it. This is my second GitHub account ever since. Mhm. Uh, Let us fetch that WhatsApp community. So is it announcement? There you go. Those who don't want the WhatsApp, there you go. You can join the general, create your group. If you don't have, join a group if you want to. So always in technology, you have an ultimate. Like where do you want to become? Like in 10 years' time, regardless of the situation of the technology, where do you want to see yourself? That goal is going to push you really, really, really far beyond your imagination. You're going to meet people who are going to intimidate you, who are going to look down upon you, but those are just noises, bugs. You have to debug them and move forward. I'm not a motivational speaker. I'm not a motivational speaker. Any question, please? We are about to end our session. The course that I did in campus is computer security and forensics in Kabarak University. But what matters out here is the skills. They're not going to ask you, what did you get after 4 years in university? They're not even going to ask you for your degree. They're never going to ask you for your degree. They are going to ask you if you are in a garage. The client is going to bring a car to you. The client wants to know, or the employer in that garage is going to ask you, what can you do in a vehicle, not what you have done. You see? I think, Brian, you are ahead of me. I'm a bit behind. For me, it's 2020. 2020 to around, I didn't even finish. So doesn't matter anymore. I was doing earlier, but okay. Any other questions? If you want to communicate to the academy direct, you can go on LinkedIn and follow me. Just type my name, Deden Okware. I'm not, I'm an interesting individual. I'm going to take you through Manstack, so come fully loaded for knowledge. This is just the beginning. You have been doing the basics. You guys come and I train you on from MongoDB all the way to even WebSockets and even DevOps, a bit of DevOps, automating your deployment on production. Yeah, that is full stack. I need you guys to be there. I need to see familiar names, familiar faces. Yeah, exactly what you're talking about, Jim. Oh, I learned my extra skills on the internet. Yeah, the internet is free of ideas. We have PLP. I did PLP. I was part of the pioneering cohort one back then in 2022. I was there, me, Eric, you know Eric, you are dean of students. We have Nelly was there. We have Monene in the community. We have Jafet in the community. We have, who else? We are a couple of guys who were there in the first cohort. Right now, people have their companies and so on. For me, I just want to focus on engineering, the deepest part of the engineering. So please, I want to see you guys on Wednesday. I want to see you guys on Wednesday. Yeah, I want to see you guys on Wednesday. Somebody is asking, what does span mean? So span is it's an element. Span is an element in HTML. It is where you don't want to use a paragraph, you don't want to use header, you want to bring something like you can use span within an element. So Span is an element that you can be able to bring inside another element and use it. So that is span. You're not specifying if it's a header or a paragraph, just something that is not known. AWS is being used, that is where you talk about data engineering, data ingestion. We talk about ETL, extract, transform, and load. Everything about data engineering. And it is mainly used for backend database if you want to automate, even for PLP. I think they're using AWS at some point because we have thousands and thousands of you coordinating at the same time. So AWS is powerful for that. Anyway, thank you guys. Thank you. See you on Wednesday, 2 p.m. It's going to be nice. It's going to be interesting. Come we do a catch up. We see where we left you at because I know a lot of you are floating, which is so, it is so fine. Like, don't worry about that. So fine. So, we're going to meet a lot of you in hackathons. Yeah. But for now, you're not going to see me unless in hackathons that are held in HQ or during your graduation. Oh, practice. You just keep practicing. You become gurus when you practice. Yeah, keep practicing. Don't just sit on what you have in class. Bye bye, guys. See you next time.